He says that stands behind whatever statement that he makes.
Well, one of them can use 8 tracks, cassette tapes, CDs. Nah, you ain't gonna get it. Stereotype. Boom. Bing.
I think one of the things we talked about is family dinners. That's like a mini reunion.
You can't catch all fish with the same bait, right? So you got to be careful with who you're trying to reach.
I agree with the music definitely influences violence, and it definitely makes a lot of individuals feel like, yo, this is a play, this is what, I gotta do.
I see you, Andre, already.
Oh, here we go. We started another week. And we're almost there, y'all. You know what? My favorite time of the year is Christmas. I'm sure that's probably y'all's favorite time of the year, too. It's the most beautiful time of the year, Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Right now, it's almost Black History Month. 30 days of Black History. Listen, there's 29 days in February this year. And plus, we start today, so we're going to get to celebrate 30 days of Black History. And I'm enjoying every minute of it. We've had some great times on Rebrandus, and we're going to do it even better. But let me tell you, we got a special guest on the show tonight. In fact, we probably got our most heralded, can I use that? The most nomenclature.
Ooh, that's
guest that we've ever had. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my favorite guest, Kevin Woodson.
Oh, shut. I thought somebody else walked in the room. I was like, who's coming in?
I'm not sure if Ace clapped. He froze over there, so he,
Oh,
Ace is like.
There he is.
Hey, listen, we're gonna be talking about Black History Month all night. Be sure to go and press that share button right now. Share this page. Let's have fun. Let's talk. Let's learn. Kevin got a whole lot of information, and I'm sure Kevin didn't study it all because I didn't want him to. His normal thought process can give us more probably than the average person knows. So we're going to bank off that. But before I get the show started,
share this page.
Let me see how everybody's doing. Kim, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful on this wonderful Wednesday, and I hope everybody out there in Facebook land and YouTube land is doing as wonderful as I am today.
All right, I'm doing just fine. Miss Helen, all the way from California. Once again,
hello.
How you doing today?
Hi. I'm doing good. I have no complaints. Happy to be here. Grateful. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you.
Eric, I see you down there. Been quiet all evening. So how you doing, Mr. Eric?
I'm good. I'm raising the roof. I'm good.
Hello.
I'm going
y'all better stop. Y'all don't stop.
That's the way it's done.
Indeed. I'm doing good, though. Glad to be here.
I'm good. Beautiful day. Great to be alive.
Right on. And my main man, Ace, how you doing, sir?
Right now, I'm like a tin man. I'm eating my can of oil. I'm froze, but okay. The Wiz? Y'all ain't got your back. Y'all ain't
Never.
Oh, no.
We called every other word. We had no clue what you were talking about.
For the 13th time, we've not seen that.
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get the show started. So this is Black History Month, starting today on Rebrandus, celebrating 30 days of Black History Month. And there's a lot to talk about, Kevin. We got lots of videos. We got lots of things that, people that we want to spotlight throughout this day. Gonna spotlight our first person here in just a second. But it's a lot to talk about. And I want y'all to just start thinking back in the last 12 months. See, we did a end of year show about, a month ago, right? And what we forgot to say is something that I thought was going to bring us together at the time that it actually happened, but we didn't mention it. And that was the Alabama brawl. So I definitely want to talk about that a little bit in Black History Month to see if that is actually, in fact, a Black History event. But maybe y'all don't think so. So we'll see in a little bit. But first, let's get started. We're going to start talking about a minute in Black history.
A minute of Black history. Selma Burke, born in Mooresville, North Carolina on December 31st, 1900. She was a sculptor and a prominent member of the Harlem Renaissance. Most notably, every time you pick up a dime which features the face of Franklin Roosevelt, just know that Selma Burke created the image that we see today. An honorary member of Delta Sigma Theta, a graduate of Winston-Salem University in 1924, She studied nursing and became a nurse in New York City. She later graduated from Ivy League School, Columbia in 1941, started her school, Sarah Burke School of Sculpture in New York City. She died on August 29, 1995. Rebrandus remembers Selma Burke.
She died on Michael Jackson's birthday, of course, in 1995. So anyway, how's everybody? Okay, we've already gone through that. Let's talk a little bit about this Alabama brawl. So Kevin, whenever I think about that Alabama brawl, to me, that is Black history at its finest, right? Maybe it's a little bit more of a reward for the Black community. I don't know exactly how you would say it, but that is something that I think it should go down in history, go down in the history books as a moment in Black history. What do you say? I think you might be muted, Kevin.
He definitely muted. Kevin, you still muted.
Unmuted.
I agree with you though.
I can't unmute him. I tell you what, I'll let you until he get his unmuted. Helen.
A Black man if it's a mute button.
Was that Ace? Was that Ace? Ace, don't be trying to jump in with your connection.
So anyway, we're talking about the Alabama brawl in Black history. Helen,
I think it's definitely I think it's definitely a pivot in Black history. I really do, because that is one of the scenarios that we did stick together for sure.
Absolutely.
Black unity is it should be in Black history, but I think of unity when I think about it. Absolutely. They came together. They swam, ran, walked.
Y'all good,
Whatever it took, they did it. Right?
They old leader Adams did.
Right. Kevin, are you back?
I call it one of those new people. Yeah, I think I'm back, Arnold.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I call it one of those new pivotal moments in Black for the folks, like my daughter, different people, they'll be able to say, yeah, I remember when that happened. When they get old, because it'll be around. They'll be talking about it.
Oh yeah,
Kevin,
we'll be talking.
Whenever 9/11 happened, September 11, 2001, I was with Kevin that day. We were all at the studio, at the radio station, and when it happened, and I was just getting to know Kevin because I'd worked there 1 month to that day. Whenever that happened, but I remember where I was at. I remember who I was there. I remember everything. That Alabama brawl situation is the exact same feeling to me. The same as when the shuttle went up in the air. Of course, Helen wasn't here at that time.
Yeah.
When that shuttle went up in the air and it just blew up, I remember where I was at, and I'm sure Kim do too. We were in school, and they showed it to us in school, Kevin. Yeah. And we watched it blow up.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I was in the
I
news
don't think I was
room.
here either, Helen.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of it was, like the trinkets that came out after the marketing, of the folding chair. They had a whole some earrings. My cousin, she actually got some earrings, little dangle earrings.
Folding chair.
It was like a crossbody bag that was blinged out. I mean, all of that. So that's a win for us.
I think so.
It took on a life of its own.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't face. Did a lot of people get charged over that?
I think only one Black person got charged over that.
Yeah,
I think
a lot of people
went to jail, but one got charged. But like the white crew, the family, they did, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you all heard this too. I heard that the store owners, that I guess they owned a store. They had some previous problems, race-related type problems.
Oh,
I did hear that.
Yeah. You heard that? Yeah.
I think the beauty of the whole situation is the simple fact that we weren't the provokers. Like, we weren't in a situation where we caused for it. We was really trying to mind our business. Like, hey, blood, listen, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And you over here thinking because your skin is melanated less that you got your face. And then they thought it was sweet. And they said, hold on now. Well, it's like the Batman signal went up.
That's right.
The thing
My man threw that cap up in there.
The thing is that, most of the time that's truly the case anyway. Everybody doesn't provoke. Every Black person doesn't provoke violence every single time. But the wonderful thing about this time was that it was actually caught on camera. Mm-hmm. So it's actually, we actually see, who was the aggressor in the beginning and who got their their bells rung in the end.
Right.
So my thing is, I think what everybody's saying is accurate. I agree with everything everybody's saying. I think it definitely gives the opportunity to see the unity that could be in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think we talked about this before, but what do you do with that unity, though? Nothing came of the unity. So if it's outside of action like that, right, that immediate action that you can take action right now because this happening right now. How do you take that to something that may take more planning? Kim?
I kind of disagree with you a little bit, Eric. I'm not going to say, nothing came out of it. I feel like something did come out of it. It showed another group of people that fat meat ain't greasy.
I say nothing came out. I'm just saying that
fat meat is greasy. That's
what do you do? What do you do with that as a Black community, though? I mean, how do you grow from that? Like, baby,
yes.
A baby gets to a certain point, then he got baby food, right? So if that's baby food, how do you get to like meat and bread and that kind of stuff? That's what I'm talking about. Growth.
Yeah, because the momentum died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At first, it was a high. The momentum was good, but now you don't hear about it as much. You don't see, the momentum kind of died down.
Because that's social media. We have to move on to the next thing that's popular.
That's right.
That was like a social media thing,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's social media. I tell you.
It's a
but I think I'm like Kim. I believe some greatness actually came from it. I don't think we're going to see this groundbreaking situation that happens. But what we did get from it is we learned from it. We learned we can come together. I mean, for what, about a month or so, this was the talk of the town. Even with social media, it only lasts about 2 days, 3 days, and then usually you pass on. This went on for about a month. So if nothing else, we learned during that time, hey, listen, we can come together, and we realized that, that all that crab in the barrel, all that stuff, that is what it is. But we actually do see each other and have an opportunity to take care of each other, and with our best interest. I'm sorry, y'all. My thought went away. My phone.
It was a good display, but my thing is, I didn't like the fact that we had been down so long that like one win was like a highlight for us. I thought, when I saw it, I'm definitely happy from what I saw, but I was like, damn, like this is all we got to hang on. Like, this is the pinnacle for us right now. So
hey man, if you
I wouldn't say that's all. That's just new.
Yeah.
It's not that it's all is new. It's something new that happened. And it's not to say that we were sitting around waiting for sure wish the incident would start, nothing like that.
Right.
But it was something new, and we look back at it as they say in retrospect, and like, see how we handled that.
It was a treat.
It was a treat.
Yeah.
It was a treat in the most violent of ways, I guess. I mean, we could have had a situation. We could have had a situation.
Look how many violent situations that we have been in on the other side of the stick.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's been going on for so long.
Well, see, I'm gonna talk from that perspective there. I was gonna mention this today anyway, but it's a good opportunity to do it now. For the last 2 years, we've in Black History Month, we talking about all these things that happen to Black people. And me personally, every time I heard about it, I relived that stuff in my head. And I was just talking out of anger, right? And I've learned over my life, right? When you do stuff out of anger, you don't really progress a lot. You might get something that you want at that moment, but you don't really progress. Mm-hmm. So I'm making a conscious effort for myself. We talk about all the stuff that's happening to Black people over the next month. I'm making an effort to celebrate us as opposed to get mad about what happened in the past. Because all you do, we think about happening in the past, is get angry about it. You just get angry, relive it, and you really don't grow from that. So I'm making myself, like I said, much of a conscious effort to be more celebratory. So I'm definitely celebrating.
And you have to learn how to
be united.
And you have to learn how to channel that anger, because it's virtually impossible to say, I won't get angry anymore. But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to channel it,
So that's the question.
What does that Alabama brawl mean for Black history, though? What does it mean for us as a people? What does it mean for us as history? Is that something we're going to be celebrating 10, 15 years from now, 20 years from now?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. People going to be like, you remember Alabama?
Yeah.
And, what's the phrase? You blank around and find out?
Oh, yeah.
That's really the gist of it, because it happened in a place. It happened in the cradle of the Confederacy, Alabama. And then it happened at a place where actually slaves were traded off. And
see, the cradle.
the cradle, and it just so how can I say it? It just so happened that a lot of people try on the other side of the fence. A lot of white people try to look at it like, history, slavery. That was a long time ago. You hear those phrases and those things. That's where the institutionalized racism comes in. Those things grow and they filter out like tree branches. And it gets us to where we are today. So a lot of people act like we just had this little hiccup called slavery, but everybody's okay now. And sadly, it isn't that way.
Yeah.
And that was shown on that riverboat dock when they didn't even want. All the brother asked them to do was move their boat, and I'm sure he asked them in a nice way.
And he probably called them some kind of crazy nomenclature, and that's how it all got started.
There,
that was beautiful.
That was a good transition for sure.
I need to get a bell and go ding.
Let's go to the comments. That Alabama win is a win, and it will go down in history. Why wouldn't it be? They still celebrate going ravage at the Capitol. Hey, that's a good point.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's an amazing
they won't
point.
even call that a problem.
Yeah,
they won't even call that a problem.
And don't.
And I really think too that the other, because we watched as a treat, right? It was a treat for us. We watched it in awe, but we watched it in awe for a different reason. They also watched in awe.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll second guess. They won't be so quick to buck up now. I think it changed everybody, not just us. I really think it did.
I think it's very necessary for us to talk about it right now, going into Black History Month, because we need to remember that moment. We don't need to remember the violent side of it. That is right. What it is. We don't need to remember anything but the unity side of it. That's the most important part. And listen, when we come back, we are going to talk about Ace is going to tell us his Black history person for the moment. We'll see y'all in just a moment.
Helen, on the $1 bill, same number of steps on the pyramid, same number of vertical bars, same number of horizontal stripes on the top of the shield, same number of leaves, and the same number of berries on the olive branch of the eagle's talon, same number of stars above the key on the Department of Treasury seal. What is that number?
I think
52. Anybody else want to try?
3.
No.
What'd you say, Ron? I said
no.
Can we just first dissect why the $1 bill got so much going on for a $1 bill? 28.
No.
13.
Who said 13?
Ron and
Pretty quick.
For the
13 colonies.
Ron said 13 minutes ago.
Yeah.
All right, Ace, what do you have for us?
13.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't. They will definitely remember the chair, and if that hat go up in the air again, they will know to run. I love it.
That's right.
Ace, what you got for us?
Hey, I just wanted to, my Black history, I want to talk about a community in Dallas that a lot of people might not be aware of called Joppy. And Joppy is spelled Joppa. But it's pronounced Joppy because one of the original spellings was Joppee. Joppy is one of 30 freedmen's towns that was founded in Dallas like a decade after abolishment of slavery. Joppy was established in 1872 by, I had to write his name down, Henry Critz Hines. He was a slave from the Miller plantation. And I want to talk about Joppy because it's a place that gets overlooked in Dallas a lot. It's actually kind of you have to stumble across Joppy. You don't just go to Joppy. You know, it's literally on the side of the tracks. You know, down at the bottom. Growing up, Joppy used to just flood out all the time. But I want to talk about it because it's actually still in existence. It's still a community. It's still some of the original homes down there, and it's an actual freedmen's community founded in 1872. And I just kind of shine that light on Joppy. Actually, Dallas wouldn't let them go to school with them at first. And I don't know about now, but even like when I was in school, Joppy was a part of the Wilma Hutchins School District. They weren't in the Dallas ISD. But Joppy.
Awesome.
Thank you. Nice information. Nice information.
Is it true that it's one way in and one way out of Joppy?
Not anymore. It used to be. So what's happening now? There's a lot of building going on because the land's so cheap. So now they're building houses and everything. But back in the day, one way in, one way out, and you really ain't got no business down there if you don't know nobody.
All right. So before we went to break, Kevin, actually, I said we were going to talk about this, but before the show, Kevin made a comment. He said we battle too hard for the wrong things in Black history. And that's a very, very, very heavy statement. And I got my own opinions about it. Helen, I said I wasn't going to speak on it because, before the show, because I feel like it'll lose its steam. But Kevin, before I talk on it or anybody else, can you please tell us what that means to you? We battle too hard for the wrong things.
Well, what I meant is like a lot of times we'll strive to be a legend in our own time. Like somebody, I'm the first Black to move into this neighborhood. And it's almost like we won't want to help one another get in here because I want to hold on to that. I'm the first Black to move into the neighborhood status. So be hired by this company or, that type of thing. And that's what I mean. We'll work hard for that, which is the wrong thing, as opposed to realizing, well, just like I got up in here, let me help Anthony in here.
Put somebody on, yeah.
And if Ace don't freeze, let me help him in there, so that kind of thing. So let me just help out where I can. So that's what I mean when I say we sometimes will put our energy into the wrong things.
Yeah, and I think that works for politics too. Like we put a lot of our energy into being a Democrat, or Republican or whatever the case may be, and for no real reason. We don't have any true benefit out of a lot of the stuff that we fight for. It's a momentary fight. I remember when I was in high school, Kim may remember this. We had a school song, and the school song was a really good song. I forget what the song was. If I said it was a popular song. But we fought because we were upset that the white people wanted this song and the Black people wanted a different song. Well, we voted on it from the very beginning, I believe. And there's only a handful of Blacks and a handful of whites, so they're gonna get what they want to get. There's more of them. But we fought and we got the song that we actually wanted. And I remember in hindsight, we looked back and we said, well, if we were gonna fight, we should have at least got a song we wanted. Instead, what we did is we just got a song that was Black. I can't even tell you what our class song is now. I just remember it's a horrible song by a group that don't even exist anymore. Like High Five or somebody. And so we fought for all that. And there was so many things we could have been fighting for in the 4 years of high school. That's the one thing we chose, and it led nowhere. So that's a strong statement to me. And I've said that on many occasions before, and I really believe that. What do y'all say?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to make a comment along. Eric had made a comment earlier about wanting to celebrate us more, which I'm wholeheartedly aligned with. I think the irony in that statement, though, and then kind of to tie this all together, is that because we are still fighting against just like being seen as equal human beings, like getting the same medical treatment, getting the same treatment when you go out to a restaurant, getting the same treatment when you travel, and people not asking if you to help or like, is this your car? I think when Black people are too, and not even complacent, but like the whole peaceful protesting or peaceful interaction when we deal with opposition becomes a nice comfort for those hidden races or for those white people who don't even know that they are protective of their white privilege. And that's why America can't be racist. Slavery was so long ago. Why are you so mad still? You know what I'm saying? Like you saw those compliments. So I think the beauty of also what happened in Alabama was it was also just a moment of this is not 1944. You just like you had them slaves that was ready to die about their freedom. You got people now that's willing. You know what, grandma, old lady, white lady, if you want these problems, you finna get them. Let's just do it like that. If you want these problems, they're not gonna be proper no more. So I think we want to be united. We want to be strong. We want to show that we're not backing down. But it's a fine line because I still don't think we're in a position where even when we show that unity, the louder voice is the white people in power. So they still finna spin that moment in history as Black people showing out, as Black people being violent, as we know they're gonna be violent. As for Black people, it's gonna be a moment of unity. Like the perspective is always gonna be twisted. So it's like, I don't know. I think I want us to celebrate us, and I know there's a lot to celebrate. It's just hard to celebrate us because I think when we celebrate us too much, that's when they do some honky dory stuff. And now we talking about why Kanye went crazy on the internet because Black people can't be happy too long in public. Like, it make them nervous, in my opinion.
Well, and you know what? I feel the same thing about Cat Williams. I mean, we celebrated Cat Williams talking about all these different comedians. It was good and juicy stuff, but all Cat Williams did was speak his truth. His truth. He didn't speak Steve Harvey, and y'all know I don't like Steve Harvey. He didn't speak. He didn't speak Ricky Smiley. No, he didn't speak theirs. He spoke his, and we made that the big thing. We put a lot of energy and a lot of money and a lot of effort. I saw something the other day that said over the course of this last football season, because Taylor Swift went to all those KC football games, their revenue is up $335 million. Just imagine how much the revenue is up because of that Cat Williams situation, when we could have been spending that time and that effort somewhere else. So we fought too hard to find out whether or not all these people are, if they're honest or not. And to me, that's such a frustrating thing that we put our energy in such, we fight really hard for the wrong thing.
And they were trying to find out, especially like the internet went 20, 30 years or 20 at least years back to find something to make it look like Cat was telling the truth. See, he was telling the truth. Okay. If he was telling the truth, it still happened 20 years ago.
Yeah.
All that effort you put in, no matter what, it happened 20 years ago. So I agree, there's too much energy was put into it. But it's drama. People love
just
drama.
like they put too much energy into Bill Cosby and Arquette. To me, I feel like
if they don't, we're gonna be winning. So it's all this is where my brother.
Kelly put too much energy into something else.
Yeah, you're right. But I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what Helen said and what Eric said, because I'm not with the peaceful thing, and it doesn't mean just because I check you doesn't mean I'm mad. Right. It doesn't make me angry just because I check you. Right. And when I check you, you control how far I go. Because if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. If you decide not to hit me, then I won't hit you. But just because I check you does not mean that I'm angry. You go
around checking people when you're happy. Like, it's a beautiful day.
but I'm just saying, it kind of just, it does invite aggression, of course.
Right.
Because you have to mean what you say.
But does it really, though, Kim? Does it really invite aggression? That's how they feel. They may feel that it's aggression, but you just being checked. That doesn't mean it's. I'm not aggressive.
I didn't mean aggression. I mean seriousness.
Oh yeah.
I have to be serious about what I'm saying and I have to teach people how to treat me.
That's right.
Yep. And that goes for everybody across the board. It doesn't matter whether you're Black, white, Mexican, Chinese, whatever. I have to teach you how to
say two more.
Oh,
that's it.
Oh
no. I have to use this analogy because and I take that into consideration along with if you go to the bank and you ask them for some money, what do? They check your credit, right? That's kind of like your payment history, and based upon your history of how you've taken care of your business, it tells them what they want to give you. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can't forget about that history. I can't forget about what you did back there. And I have to proceed with that in mind of how I'm going to treat you.
That's good.
I want to celebrate. Eric, yes, I want to do that. I'm going to do that right along with you. But if somebody needs to be checked, they will get checked.
I agree with the analogy. Now, if the bank tell you they need you that money, they ain't gonna do it with attitude though. To say, sir, man, we can't give you that money.
But they're gonna be serious about it.
Serious about it, absolutely.
And it won't be any kind of. It'll be no nonsense with it.
And Tori Wright says, I understand what Kim is saying. When we check someone, it isn't always an attitude, but being Black, correction to others is always angry. You know what, y'all, Kim? That's actually a biblical thing. That's a proverb. The wise can receive being checked. You know
That's
what I mean?
Right.
It's the silly who can't receive it. Anyway, y'all, look, when we come back, Helen is going to give us a Black History Month of a very person that nobody has ever heard of before. That's the whole game. So let's see what she. I'll just mess with you. I have to put on the spot. We'll see y'all in about a minute.
Eric,
let's get it.
Is there an ATM machine in Antarctica?
Yes.
Correct. There are actually two. There are only 2 U.S. ATM machines in Antarctica, but there's one on every continent in the world.
I appreciate that 50-50 opportunity, Kim, too. So.
All right. Yeah, I got you.
I wonder what the fees are.
Right.
I'm telling you.
A minute of Black history.
Are y'all not catching the nugget that I put in there?
On that video, who is that saying Ricky in the background? Is it you?
Wait, what? What nugget?
Every time you show Ricky in the background, he say Ricky.
Can I show it one more time?
Come on.
Yeah, I missed it.
It's 13 seconds.
I was drinking water. I'm sorry.
I showed somebody this earlier, but they didn't catch it.
A minute of Black history.
Radio.
Ricky.
I heard that time.
I'm sorry. All right, let's.
Okay.
Hey, Helen, it's on
Yeah,
you.
you know how I feel when the gold people head now.
Sir, I work at a bank. We get attitudes. You're asking for $4,500, which you got $25. Go on, wasting my time. She said some people can't afford. They credit so bad they can't get approved. I forgot how my sister put it, but she put the credit is so bad they can't get a peanut finance or something. I don't know. I'm sorry, Helen. It's on you.
All right. Well, the assignment was Black History facts. So I'm gonna start backwards since Anthony's funny. This woman. Well, I'm gonna start backwards. Anyways, in 1936, this woman was the highest ranking African American woman in government as the director of Negro Affairs to the National Youth Administration. On top of that, she originally had a school in 1904 that was called Daytona Normal and Industrial Institute. It was an all-girls school. But y'all may know her as Mary Bethune, who in 1923, the Daytona Normal Industrial Institute became Bethune-Cookman University. So I'm from Florida, so we have to do one time for the one time. And she's a woman. She was an educator, and I know of a lot of educators, and we support educators. Amen, amen. That is an intense picture, let me tell you, though.
Oh yes.
That's intense for sure.
I'm glad you said her name because
Don
we was
King going on.
Yeah, we was guessing. I was gonna say Martina Luther King. That's always.
Stop it. Stop it.
I got
Thank
a
you for that
question.
very much, Helen.
Is she the same person as Mary McLeod Bethune?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she's the same person.
Okay. All right. I was just okay. That's how it's always been presented to me. But good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Very good job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fact.
All right, so Black History, celebrating 30 days of Black History with Kevin Woodson and Rebrandus. All right, now, where were we? Where are we? And where are we going? That's the question of Black History. So as y'all know, I mean, normally when we do Black History Month, we always do this little spiel about how Black History got started. It was a week at first, and then it turned into a whole month. We don't need to do that anymore. But the question is, where were we? Where are we? And where are we going? Now, Kevin, being the senior of this group tonight, at least older than us. Well, I'm not telling his age, but he's older than us. So, you got a different understanding of where we were, because maybe you were closer to that time than we were, and where we are now. So, in your opinion, where were we? Where are we? And where are we going now as Black people?
Well, we were still trotting and moving forward. And as we move forward, other obstacles in the forest fall in the way. And earlier, somebody talked about social media. Now, things have redeeming value, and some of those things are also obstacles, because now, and it's not just us, but we're the least ones that can afford it. Everybody's having trouble with just pulling this one out of the air. Relationships, because so many people see how folks are living on or pretending to live on social media, and then they try to find people that are going to live up to that so they can do it too. So another one of those battling against the wrong thing. So I think we have to, I'm going to quote Dr. Ernest Callaway. Y'all say, who is that? When I was an undergrad in St. Louis, Dr. Ernest Callaway was a civil rights activist in St. Louis, where I grew up. And he was my urban affairs professor in undergrad. And he made a great point one time. He says, Black people have to figure out whose foot is in their room. And I'm applying that to this right here, because a lot of times that goes back to that battling thing. We might be working on the wrong end of it, you know. Case in point, this is stuck in my head. I heard Snoop the other day on something, and he made a comment that in other words, he didn't have a problem with Donald Trump because he freed some guy that he knew from jail. But you have to watch stuff that's in sheep's clothing. You know, it can be dressed up. You know, that's how you catch a mouse. You dress it up to look like something else. Like, oh, look at that food over there. And you go over there and eat it. And it's decon made to look like Swiss cheese or something, you know. And you have to see the bigger picture. That's what I'm trying to say. And I know, you know, Snoop's glad his buddy got it. But then again, you have to take things, and this is what I'm saying as far as social media again. The bigger picture, even with that, is, well, you know, I might listen to Snoop's records, but Snoop didn't start. He said he didn't vote, if I'm not mistaken, for the first time until 2020. So, you know, he's a neophyte when it comes to politics. So he's not quite the guy you want to listen to, you know. So
see, most people wouldn't remember that. That's a great point that you make, because most people wouldn't remember that. I remember Snoop saying he didn't vote until 2020 or whenever it was. But he has the platform. He has the platform to say whatever he needs to say in front of millions of people. That's the part they hear.
And that can be dangerous, because you know, that's that point. That can be dangerous.
When I think about Black history, this is what I think about. I don't think about slavery. I mean, you know, I was born in 1977, so my mind don't really fathom that far back. I only know the horrific parts of it. But when I think about where we were, I always think about the Harlem Renaissance and civil rights and that unity and that togetherness and that oneness and that, you know, that here we're all in line for the same cause. To me, that makes so much more sense. It's like, okay, we all have the same oppression. We all have the same issue, and let's fight on that issue. And yeah, Martin fought one way and Malcolm fought another way and W.E.B. fought one way and so forth and so on. But we had one fight. We had one, there was many solutions to one fight, I guess. And so that's where we were. That's the scary part, because we're not there now. Like, where are we now? We're not there. And we still have the same fight as Black people.
Right.
We still have the same fight. So now
it's disguised to look like something else.
It's
disguised to look like something else. And see, it's fought in a different way, because now you get you grab a Tim Scott and go out there and talk to him. Tim, you speak their language. At least that's what they think. And then Tim Scott comes out grinning, looking like a Cosby character, and telling you all this stuff. And you know, telling you all this stuff, and then, you know, and it's like, I don't want to even use the phrase he set us back, because he didn't. He just set himself back. He only sets us back if we listen to him.
That's right.
So that's the whole point, you know. But yeah, that's what makes it's like war. You know, they fought it one way. You know how in those old movies you had a row of guys because their rifle only shot one time, and they kneel down and they go boom. And then while they're reloading, the guys behind them go boom. And then, you know, well, it's fought a lot different now. And that's the same way with this, same war, but it's fought a whole lot different.
Yeah.
I do think, though.
Maybe we're talking about Dracos and automatics, and we don't have to reload. I got a drum and everything. So,
but I do think,
well versed on the weaponry.
I do think we're getting back to the culture, not the culture, the artistic part of it, and getting back to owning more of our own businesses, because the pandemic did listen. Everybody Before it used to be everybody wanted to be a rapper, singer, or a dancer, or a model. Now everybody want to be an entrepreneur, and I ain't mad at that. And it's a lot more Black businesses. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we might not. I don't know if I'm gonna see it in my life. I might see it like in my 40s or 50s, but I do think we might get back to having like a small Black Washington or a small community where it really is just Black dollars circulating, and we're smarter now. We know more technology is here, so it'd be a lot harder for them to undermine us unless we get sold out, which is usually how that happen anyway. But I'm gonna knock on wood. And hope we don't get
do y'all really think that whatever we're fighting for, whatever right that we fight for, do you think we know how to use it? Do you think we'll know how to use it wisely
in the future? No,
that's a good question.
Yeah, I think we'll know how to use it. It's just that a lot of times we get castigated to look like they won't know what to do with it if they get it anyway. But other people, again, somebody mentioned the riots at the Capitol because that's what they were. See, it's all in how you decide to look at it. If the people out there, if the white people out there were just patriots that are fed up, you can always gloss something over and make it look like, whereas if we're out there for George Floyd or somebody, then, you need to bring out the heavy artillery. Right. And that's one of those inequities in this country that, I know I won't see it in my lifetime and not being pessimistic, y'all ain't gonna see it in either, and neither is my daughter, But I think you'll see little pockets of things improve and change.
Yeah.
I think that I think it was Helen that mentioned the pandemic. The pandemic gave us a fair playground because it didn't have any discrimination on who it was going to kill. We all had friends who died from the pandemic, so it taught us a whole lot about life, and it made globally, which is the interesting part about it. It wasn't just an American thing. So globally, we learned a whole lot about life. We learned a whole lot about love. We learned a whole lot about the time is right now. That's why so many people stopped and started their businesses, from home or whatever they did. So to me, it taught us that. So that was as big of a moment for Black history as the Alabama brawl or anything else. Yeah. And it lasted about 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if we capitalized like we should have. And Helen, you may know a little bit more since you're younger than me and you got an understanding of how the younger folk, act. But I do know people aren't going to offices like they used to. Yeah. I do know people aren't working like they used to. I know that thing changed. And once you take the fear away and the man don't have you by his neck or by your neck, then you got the power. That is really where we hold the power is when we say we're going to start our own businesses. The beauty of Black Wall Street is we could keep money in our own community for 2 weeks or whatever the paycheck to paycheck, and that's amazing as opposed to 30 minutes or 30 seconds. And so the pandemic let us have a glimpse into that. The problem is now we don't have culture anymore. We don't have community anymore. So the dollar don't necessarily stay in the Black community that long either because we don't have a culture or a community to keep it there. And so that's the scary part. Let's go to the comment real quick. It's a long one too. It says there's a Black Wall Street in Atlanta and there are several Black-owned banks. We as people just don't know or don't support. There are so many Black-owned businesses. It is up to us to now celebrate and support each other. I absolutely agree and love that comment. Hey, look here. I think it's Kim's time. Whenever we come back, we're going to hit a break real quick. This might be a favorite. I'm going to play it. Y'all, I'm going to shock y'all with the next video. Any idea what it may be?
Oh, my gosh.
Hey,
I'm excited for it.
It's my favorite. I think it's going to be my favorite. Wait a minute.
I think
That's my favorite.
Watch the movie Norbit with Eddie Murphy. That was me in the movie.
Oh, man.
She was beautiful. She was gorgeous. She was fine as wine.
Now, how long were you guys married?
18 months.
She got right to it.
Say the word no 1,000 times in a second. No.
God, something
yes.
Collard green?
That's what they say. Hindsight is 20/20.
I never heard of that. No.
When you look back on a situation, right, it's more clear.
Had it not been a chaplain and social worker to work with me during those years of recovery, during grief counseling and conversations and openness, I wouldn't be as transparent as I am today. But of course, during that time, it was very, very difficult because you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You don't see it at that moment.
Wow.
The light didn't come on until after I came back from a New Year's Eve service. She didn't want to go, and the house was literally demolished. There was an orgy and all this other kind of stuff going on. There was an orgy and all this other kind of stuff going on. It was very yes.
You have to go.
Yeah,
go
it's
back about 15 seconds.
When the police saw the police reports, they said, "Mr. Curry, we encourage you to get out of this now." And at that time, it's difficult to just jump and go. You got to have a safe haven, a safe place. And you know, I'm very, but I will say this is why I take human agents' resources so seriously to this day. Never be ashamed of your circumstance because
ever.
There's different types of abuse. That's a lot.
Kim, it's okay. What's Kim doing?
Yeah, her mind went 50 different places.
Yeah, but I want you to laughter over there.
A smorgasbord.
There's all sorts of abuse out there. Seek help. Tell somebody.
All right, we are back. That was good. I got permission to play that, by the way. I'll go ahead and let y'all know that I talked to Donald. He knows we're gonna play it. All right, I believe we're up to Kim. Kim, what you got for us?
Okay, so I'm just trying to gather myself, before I get serious about my person. So, how many of us grab something to be able to see clearly throughout the day, or the first thing in the morning? I wear contacts every day. I always see Helen with her glasses on. I see Kevin with his glasses on. And how many people do we know in our family that have had cataract surgery? Sometimes that can kind of lead to that. So today, that's kind of what brings me to my person. Her name is Patricia Ira Bath. Okay. She was an American ophthalmologist and a humanitarian, and she became the first female member of the Jules Stein Eye Institute and the first woman to lead a postgraduate training program in ophthalmology, and also the first woman elected to the honorary staff of the UCLA Medical Center. Bath was the first African-American to serve as a resident in ophthalmology at New York University, and she was also the first African-American woman to serve on a staff as a surgeon at the UCLA Medical Center. She also was the first to experiment with excimer laser photoablation using human eye bank eyes. Bath coined the term laser phaco for the process. And so she actually has that process patented. She holds 5 patents in the United States. 3 of Bath's 5 patents relate to the laser phaco probe. And in 2000, she was granted a patent for a method for using the pulse ultrasound to remove cataracts. And in 2003, a patent for combining laser and ultrasound to remove cataracts. So she has many accolades in the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Funds, Black Women of Achievement Award, the Tribeca Film Festival, Disruptive Innovation Award. And it was announced that she would be one of the first 2 Black women, along with Marion Croak, to be inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Right. So did she have hindrances? Yes, she had hindrances. And she stated in one of the articles that sexism, racism, and poverty were her main 3 hindrances in her life. But Patricia E. Bath, she just proved to us that seeing is not what you see. I'm sorry. Patricia E. Bath, she proved to us that what you see is not always what you get.
Very good, Kim.
Wow.
Kim worked on that all week. That's very good, Kim.
Yeah, very good.
Got that Easter speech together.
Yeah, hello.
When Black people make it, they forget they are Black.
Ooh.
Now listen, hold on. Can I touch on that?
I need to pick it back off of that one too.
Because I just want to say, I think what the unfortunate thing is about Black success is that there's always, I think there's always disparity there's always some form of disparity, and it's hard to share or want to share when you are negative something. Like, I would love to share my wealth with you, but I am negative. So I'm trying to get back up to par, my family up to par, and then get to surviving. So if we all doing well, and I think about like, we're talking about music, like all the music groups back in the day that we had, and they all got broken up because one person got told they was better than their group, and it was usually by a white producer. And that kind of mentality still happens today in the Black community because we are at such a disadvantage. When you do get some bunny, some honey, you know, you're rolling in it, you forget you're Black. Because listen, I ain't my struggle anymore. I got decades. Decades don't mean Black. That's what they didn't tell us. So it's unfortunate, but it's hard for us to move on when our history is not our history. It's really still our present. It just look different. If we want to keep it a bug, like our history is not really our history. We still experience it. Black people are at a big disadvantage still. It just look different.
Right.
Flash is lonely at the top.
Kim?
And then I don't know. This is it just makes me think about the spouses that people get, you know, like when you get on, like Kanye said, when you get on, they leave you for a white girl, you know, and it's just what it seems like, you know. It seems like, you know, that's the way that they go. But, you know, I love my Black men. So, you know, if I become a millionaire right now, I'm going to give me a brother.
Amen.
I'm going to have a brother. Okay. Just for the record. Okay.
You know what?
I wrote that down.
Hey, Kevin said he's single right now.
I wrote that down.
But you know,
And
this
I
is
think,
how I feel about it. I feel like, oh, go ahead, Yashika, I'll come back.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I feel like, you know, the higher you get, you just got to stop messing with some of the same people. I don't really feel like Black people just start leaving Black people behind. I feel like those people we leave behind is not the people. It's not the skin color. It's the mentality of that individual or that group of people. Yeah. Michael Vick made this mistake. Michael Vick was hanging around with the same people, and it got him in trouble. Mike Tyson says the same thing, and it kept him murder. So what you have to do is like A said earlier, is lonely at the top. And a lot of Black people ain't at the top. Now, Kim, I will say this. When a Black man when he makes it, when he's rich, when he's famous, when he's celebrated for whatever reason, college graduate, he needs to stick with a Black woman. That's how I feel. Now, you know, there's a lot of people out there who disagree with that. It is what it is. But we should not be leaving our Black women just because we see success. Success is not.
Thank you.
Pardon me?
Thank you for saying that. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
Don't give him no props because he ain't got a couple of $1 million yet. You want the Hollywood checks start rolling in.
I just don't understand the fact that how are you going to be with somebody that would have sold you back in the day?
Oh,
now I ain't never thought of it that way, but okay.
Tell me, baby. Tell me.
Yashika?
I'm just, what you said is really what I was going to say. Like, I don't think that, not everybody anyway, forgets that they're Black. I just think that they have to get away from those type of people. Because, you know, remember, we talked about it, Anthony, you and I, we talked about if it's something you're really passionate about or if it's a hobby. Just because you're passionate about it, don't make it that somebody else's passion. That makes it that could be just their hobby. You know what I mean? And then you passionate and you on your way up, they become your entourage. Not trying to match you or trying to get up there with you or trying to do better. They just happy being in the back as your entourage. So do you want those people around you is a question you should ask, because them the same people that if you're not looking, have the gun to you, your knife to your back, you know? So you just have to be mindful of who you have in your circle if you make it or when you make it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And there's nothing, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with having those same friends, you know, if you so-called make it, you know?
Right.
Say I would have won the lottery tomorrow. You know, Anthony would still be my friend. You know, Anthony and I have been friends forever. But, you know, if I pursue my dream and I make it in my dream job and everything, if I make it in my dream job, you know, I'm going to bring my friend, of course, with me to share in that, because I would respect the fact that they are chasing after their dreams as much as I chase after mine.
Right. But what about
so it has to be like a like-mindedness.
Right. Exactly right. Because it may be somebody that's they're not as passionate, and you have to be okay with that. Because what I want for me is not what you want for you, and that's cool.
That's okay.
Whatever you want. If you want to sit in that, sometimes you have to leave people where they are. That's my favorite saying. I leave them where they at. That's where you want to be. I have to leave you there. But if you want to be, I help anybody. I will put you on. I've put several people on. If I can do it, I'll help you. Because I think we all come up. We can all come up. It's just not me. You know what I mean? But if you're not interested in that, then I have to leave you where you are.
And also, you know, God will let me know if your spirit ain't right.
For real. Yeah. That's true.
Your friends got to understand.
I call that the Fred Sanford effect.
What?
Oh,
talking to me?
So it's a Fred Sanford effect. Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, all the people that were in Sanford, his son, LaWanda Page, Skillet and Leroy, all those were what they called Chitlin Circuit comedians that were there with Red Fox. And when Red made it, you know, got me a show, you know, then it was like everybody had a role, you know, and he was handing them out. And I mean, it had worked because they were all of that same like-mindedness, at least as far as being able to perform the role. So that's why I call it the Fred Sanford effect.
You know what? I'm gonna start using that. In fact, I'm gonna coin it. I'm gonna post it on Facebook before y'all do. And that on that note,
a minute of Black history.
Eric, it's on you.
All right, so my guy's name is Dr. John Bowman, J.B. Banks. He was the first Black physician to practice medicine in Natchez, Mississippi. He recruited another doctor named Albert Woods Dumas. He was the second Black physician to practice in the city. Together with 4 other businessmen, they founded an African-American bank in Natchez called Bluff City Savings Bank in 1906. That's unheard of, right? 1906. During the civil rights movements of 1960s, Banks House was the headquarters for the Natchez branch of the NAACP. It was also the home of NAACP President George Metcalf. The building is now listed on the National Register of Historic Places and is home to the Dr. John Brown Banks Museum. In 2022, the Mississippi Humanities Council and Visit Mississippi Place, the House of Mississippi Freedom Trail, and the U.S. Civil Rights Trail. A ceremony for unveiling the Freedom Trail marker was held in April 2023. Banks was a successful businessman, strong community leader, and active Zion Chapel AME church member, while Hiram Rose Revel was the first African-American to serve in the U.S. Senate and has served as pastor. Banks was also a friend of Booker T. Washington, and around 1892, he built the house at 9th Street, Catherine Street. So that's the guy. His last name is Banks, but he actually created the first bank in 1906 in Natchez, Mississippi. So,
all right,
cool.
All right,
that's pretty good. That's nice.
Banks had the bank.
Same year, Alpha Phi Alpha was founded.
Hey, yo, hey, who we got on the show next week?
Oh, yeah, I like that. Next week.
Girl, you sound like somebody from the Bronx.
Well, next week we're gonna be talking to a crazy group of people that I've researched. We're actually gonna be talking to current porn stars. Wait, wrong podcast. Oh, my bad. We actually gonna be talking about to midgets that are applying for the police department, and we're gonna name the show gonna be Standing Tall for Justice.
Yeah.
My face, Lord.
I'll make another one next week. It's on you, Yashika.
Hey, yo, hey, who we got on the show next week?
All right, next week we're gonna have a good show. I want y'all to tune in. We're probably gonna need a little help getting pumped up. We're actually gonna be talking to a group of depressed motivational speakers, and we're gonna title the show "Just Do It."
Sponsored by Nike, huh?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
It's okay.
Cracking up.
She liked that one. She knew the punchline before.
Yeah, she cracked up before the punchline.
Hey, look here.
I was listening for real.
Kevin, we want to thank you once again for being on this show this week.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, shucks.
I don't know if you know this, but we have voted you as like a normal. So I mean, we're not gonna ask every Wednesday, but clear your schedule at least once a month. It's coming.
I ain't been normal in my whole life, so
honor.
Hey,
so yeah.
Well, again, we thank y'all. Hey, we are celebrating 30 Days of Black History with tonight. Kevin Woodson, Rebrandus is going to be doing this to the last day of the month. Kevin, do you have any last words?
I know a lot of good words of wisdom were given in this show, and just take it and think about it. As they say, ruminate over it. That's what Ace. I give him a new one. Just ruminate over it. And then and apply it to your lives.
There you go.
All right, thank you very much for that. You know what? I'm gonna give y'all a special treat before we go out.
Black Hard Revoke. Let's do it.
Sorry, wrong treat. Didn't
wrong treat. Okay.
That ain't it either. I think I downloaded the wrong one. Sorry.
This
See y'all next week.
Bye.
I don't think he backs down from anything that he says. That stands behind whatever statement that he makes.
Well, one of them can use 8-tracks, cassette tapes, CDs. Nah, you ain't gonna get it. Stereotype. Boom. Bing.
I think one of the things we talked about is family dinners. That's like a mini reunion.
You can't catch all fish with the same bait, right? So you got to be careful with who you're trying to reach.
I agree with music definitely influences violence, and it definitely makes a lot of individuals feel like, yo, this is a play, this is what, I got to do